deliberate and exacting pronunciation and intention. We have a long way to go, and we may be at different levels of ability to focus on the Maha Mantra, but we have to seriously take it up and work on it every day in and day out. And we should have a specific number of rounds we're chanting on our beads. And when we chant, we should do nothing else except for chanting on our beads. We can chant at all other times of the day, which is highly recommended, which is the most recommended service. It means it's the most practical, which means by chanting Hare Krishna mantra as much as possible, the most effect on the world and one's own heart is actually affected. It's the most practical. It means that one can observe the result from that service more than any other service. Right? So we have to get that. That's what we're told by the scriptures. That's what we're told by the saints. That's what Prabhupada has described over and over and over again. That this is the most important service in this age. And actually, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Eva Kevalam, Klo Nasteva, 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 Gatirandita. That in this age of Kali, there's no other way to reach the supreme destination. There's no other way to achieve the supreme perfection. There's no other way to attain complete purity of heart than the chanting of the Lord's holy name. So, we're really trying to do that, because that's the only way that we'll be able to uncover our pure consciousness. And that pure consciousness is, as we've mentioned, to give loving service to the Supreme Lord's senses. Which means we want Him to taste something wonderful. We want Him to smell something wonderful. We want Him to see something wonderful. We want Him to hear something wonderful. We want Him to touch something wonderful. Right? So, when we're practicing Bhakti Yoga, then we are accepting 6 processes of Sharanagati, which means surrender. And Sharanagati begins with accepting what is favorable for devotional service. And the next one is rejecting what is unfavorable for devotional service. And this verse speaks a little bit about that, how we engage everything in the service of the Lord. That's called Yukta Vairagya. So I was speaking before that there's different levels of consciousness. And at a certain stage, the consciousness is simply to enjoy this material world by connecting the objects of the senses with my material senses. Then there's a stage which is based on frustration, which is that I've been completely frustrated in my attempt to enjoy and actually achieve lasting pleasure by contacting the sense objects with my senses. Right? And so I'm completely frustrated. So then I have this desire that I will actually annihilate my senses. I'll become senseless. I'll become senseless. And this is called the Jnanamaya platform, where one is thinking that they will actually merge into Krishna and become one with God, or merge into light, or energy, or your favorite number. Whatever it is that you think that you want to, that you take as the supreme, the idea is that you merge into that thing. And it's different types of speculations which are based on frustration and disappointment, that I haven't been able to be actually happy by my own process of grabbing up whatever I can find and getting all my lackeys to grab up other stuff as well and bring it all to me. And then I'll just enjoy it. So all of that process is actually based on karma. So some people can do it really expertly, and some people just can't. We tried to do it, but nobody became our lackey, and we didn't get any good stuff. And we didn't have a place to store it, and, or we tried, and we got a little bit, but we were really disappointed in how much pleasure we got out of it. So there's stories about that Prabhupada gives how there's a very, very rich man who has indigestion. And he's so rich, he can eat whatever nice foodstuffs he wants from the whole planet, anywhere and everywhere, with the best cooks and the best ingredients, except for he can't eat anything. He can only eat very, very bland foods, or else his body doesn't digest it at all. And then Prabhupada gives another story where he discusses a great diplomat who somebody wanted to see him at his office, and the secretary told him, yes, Mr. Such and Such is busy right now, but you just wait here and you can see him after some time. So then it was taking so long, and this person was really curious of what Mr. Such and Such could be doing behind the door. So when the secretary wasn't paying attention somehow or other, then he looked inside the door and he saw that this person is galloping around the floor with his grandson on his back. The idea is that he was obviously getting more pleasure from that type of sense engagement than all this lording it over and being a very powerful person with business to do in the material world and things to take over and get accomplished. So similarly, we have to meditate on this and we have to see, if I just spend time with Lord Krishna, then that is more valuable than getting anything done in the material world, actually. If I just spend time with Srila Prabhupada through his mission, and with Lord Chaitanya through his mission, then that's more valuable than any type of wanton cash grab that I am trying to execute in this material world. So, based on our karma, we have a little bit coming to us, and it's not much on this earthly planet. Even if it's the most out of anyone on the earthly planet, it's still not much. And if you just think about this, you have the same amount of years as anybody else, and you can be, at any time, it can be taken from you. But at most, you have 120 years. At most. Right? So how much do you really have? How much can you really enjoy? Even if you have all the money or all the power, how much can you really enjoy here? You can't. So this is futile. It's silly. It's pathetic, actually. To try to enjoy this material world is actually pathetic. It's below us. Anarya Jushtam Asvardhyam Kirti Karama Arjuna. Like Krishna tells Arjuna, from where has this impotence come upon you? From where has it come? And it's not the type of talk that comes from the Aryans. Aryans means those who know the progressive values of life. It means those who understand soul versus matter, and understand, ultimately, the most perfect Aryans understand devotional service. Right? So, when we engage in a unrestricted type of lifestyle of exploitation of the material energy, then it's characteristic of the false ego that I think I'm this body. And so the idea is that they go together. If I have false ego, then I have to exploit. It's not like you can have false ego and not be exploited. The false ego is living off of that mentality. It's synonymous with the mentality of I and mine. If it's I, it's not you. And if it's mine, it's not yours. So that they go together. This exploitative mentality and the false ego. You think, I think I'm this body and I'm doing everything that I see myself doing. I'm doing everything that I see my body doing. No, you're not. You're not doing it. Some parts are dictated by the modes of material nature. And as much as you're Krishna conscious, it's dictated by the spiritual nature. Means the spiritual energy, or ultimately, under the purview of Srimati Radharani. She's directing. Of course, the sadhaka never really thinks that he's under the internal energy, but he knows the Mahatmas are, the real devotees, they're under the divine protection, they're under the divine nature. But me, I'm just a mind. And I gotta pray really hard every second, or else I'm gonna do something stupid, and it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt me, it's gonna hurt all my friends, it's gonna hurt Krishna's feelings too. So, anyway, what I'm trying to say is, when we perform practical devotional service, we please the Lord's senses with our senses, then our pure nature, or our pure consciousness, is uncovered more and more. And that's why it's called practice. Practice, practice, practice. And perfect practice makes perfect. Right? Somebody at the beginning is recommended just to work in the spirit of devotion. Krishna says in the Gita, do not disturb the minds of the ignorant. Instead, encourage them to work in the spirit of devotion. Which means something is there, even if their activities are completely nonsense and impractical. But something is there as a work in devotion. But it goes beyond that. It has to go beyond that into perfect practice. It has to go to the 9 processes of pure devotional service. It means hearing, chanting, remembering, and so forth. Given by Prahlad Maharaj and practiced by the Vaishnava Acharyas. Right? So, we're meant to basically take 24 hours a day and fill it up with those 9 processes. And the idea is to stay engaged. The idea is ask for service. Get something given to you to do with your life, with your time, with your energy, with your mind, with your words, with your body. Don't stay independent. Don't stay outside of the system. You know? Connect yourself with the Parampara and do the work of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as an insignificant instrument, 24 hours a day. We should be super tired when we take rest. We should be completely taxed. We should be completely finished. Not with my own plans, not with my own business, not with my own lifestyle, or not with my own, but exactly as Prabhupada would want. And how do I know what Prabhupada wants? I gotta ask somebody that knows what Prabhupada wants. I gotta work with somebody who knows how to guide me. So this is the principle behind devotional communities, and it gives a framework to cumulatively and cooperatively make an offering to Lord Krishna. You know? And the work that we can do together is a lot more than what we can do alone or individually. Now, the idea is, one can say, well, I don't like this team. This team is chanting Hare Krishna, and, you know, they're fine. But, you know, I want to do things this way. So, The empowerment is there. One can go. He can make his own program. He can do his own preaching. Now, at the same time, right, if there's some sort of a conflict, Prabhupada has specifically discussed these things. And he specifically discussed that wherever there is a temple, ISKCON temple, if we want to work with Prabhupada and we want to please Prabhupada, then we work with that temple and we work together and we get sanctioned. And if we need to make a new project, we need to make a new group, we need to make a new plans, then we ask permission, we get involved and we talk, right? And then we're willing to agree, for the pleasure of God. So, thankfully, or it may be that, actually it's a fact that we don't claim to be perfect, meaning practitioners of this path of devotional service never claim to be perfect, but we claim that we're following a perfect person. So Prabhupada is perfect. So if you get connected up with Prabhupada and you do what he said, then that's the best. So, that's the idea, is that more or less we have the Srimad Bhagavatam, we hear daily as much as possible, we chant daily on our beads as much as possible, and we try to spread this knowledge to whomever we meet, and we try to connect them with the authorized system of devotional service. So, by this work, by this practical activity, it's called Kriyasu. By this work, we can actually always remember Krishna. That's the idea, is that if we work really hard all day long, then we'll be thinking of Krishna all day long, and we won't have any time to think of our personal sense gratification or comforts. We won't be in our false ego thinking, oh, I need more of this, I need more of that, I didn't get enough respect, I didn't get enough appreciation, I didn't get enough opportunities. Well, actually we have unlimited opportunities to serve Krishna because we can chant Hare Krishna every second.